contenders looked in good shape seconds after the start, and as expected, and Stott was among them. From the beginning, there were good signs as to how this endurance race might turn out. Just over an hour from the start, the Dusi claimed its first victim, and Stott sprained his ankle, and this was enough to end his participation. Dubbed
Nine-times Comrades Marathon winner Bruce Fordyce going by with a rather studious look on his face.
Yes, very nice to see Bruce upright in a canoe for a change.
Yes, it does make a nice change. I think that's number 6 for Mr. Fordyce this year.
Yes, he's done exceptionally well. 6 in the back of the double, and next year we're hoping to see him driving the canoe down the river.
Yeah, right. There's a man who knew it was going to be hot on day one, and thanks for the help, mate. That is Ant Stott in severe trouble, Mark.
Yes, this is a major problem for Ant. He's gone over, he's sprained his ankle, and I think that's him out of the race.
Two-time winner Ant Stott, and a local boy, was enjoying lots and lots of support. This is Martin Dreyer, and if there's a man who carries a canoe better in this country at this moment, I still want to see him.
Martin Dreyer really powering up this hill. This is very, very hot. It's already over 30 degrees, the temperature climbing, and Martin's opening it up. He's 45 seconds ahead of a clearly tiring Hank McGregor, who's battling to hold off Len Jenkins, chasing hard in third position.
That vista from the top of Campbell's told you just how hard they climbed. This is Dreyer, and through the hole in the wall, already going very well and building up a lead.
Martin using the water to cool himself down after that long run. Len Jenkins chasing hard. His leg doesn't really seem to be bothering him at this stage.
And Mark alluded to it, a broken bone in his lower left leg was hampering Jenkins, but no such luck for Dreyer, who was powering away at Mission Rapid.
At Mission Rapid, Martin had opened up an 8-minute lead. I mean, that is phenomenal to have an 8-minute lead over Jenkins, and it was growing.
Working his way beautifully, he knows virtually every rock and every line in the river, can describe some of the colouring of the rocks for you. That's how much homework he's done. And a man ever losing seconds, Len Jenkins, the singles champion.
One would expect Len to really be closing down the time now on Martin, but Martin carried on opening that gap. It was unbelievable.
The heat, no doubt, also taking its toll. This is Gauteng's Jacques Tron, and getting himself into trouble, not hitting the right line there.
No, Jacques hasn't spent as much time in the river as his Natal counterparts, and he's paying the price. And he's lost a little bit of time, but he'll make that up again, hopefully on the flat water.
Very powerfully built, and looks like a star of the Dusi for the future.
He's worked a lot on his running this year.
Spectators watching, and this is what they came to see, men who get themselves into a spot of bother, particularly down these very tricky rapids.
Yeah, not a very clear line through Mission. It is broken at this level, not that easy to get through, especially when there's a lot of congestion and you're having to wait for the boat in front of you, and as you're waiting, someone either touches your boat from behind or the boat spins out.
And that just nudges you in the wrong direction, and then it is tickets. It's very difficult to get through there without this happening to you. And then on top of it all, you can get the boat stuck there and break it.
14 times winner Graham Pope Ellis. He knows the river better than anyone else. He's still getting it wrong.
Of course, fathers and sons take part in this annual pilgrimage from Maritzburg to Durban, but it asks all the right questions. It's one very tough examination.
And not that simple. There's so many different components to this race. There's running, there's paddling, there's which line to take, and these all change as the river levels change.
And you spend a lot of time in the boat, so nutrition is also important, and being dehydrated or hydrated.
At this heat, the guys were really losing a lot of water. Powerade, a fantastic sponsor for the race, ensuring that the paddlers were always hydrated. The left sneak not really working at this level, and yeah, a bit of a slower line.
It's Looks a bit like Rissik Street on a very bad Friday afternoon, but somehow they all got through it in the end. Oscar Chalupski, one of the power men of South African water sport, and Bruce Fordyce. Hasn't concentrated that hard since 1998. Back at the sharp end of the field and powering up Cabbage Tree, this is none other than Mr. Dreyer and getting seconding from a certain Mr. Barrow.
Yes, Martin's second actually collapsed. He had flu and he asked me to take over. Martin was really battling. It
Nice
was
job.
hot, 40 degrees C, and Jacques Theron getting some welcome power aid from his second. Jason Graham, a magnificent race. He is probably one of the guys that could challenge Martin on the run. He was running superbly. Scott Maynard, fantastic race, holding on to 5th position.
Represented South Africa on the flat water in canoeing, and he knows what it's all about, trying his hand at the ultra distance events, the longer events.
Abby Medema coming up to Fingerneck Portage, very steep, very short, and it's a sharp run downhill. Abby's worked exceptionally hard on her running.
Not being too bad. I expected a lot worse, you know. I think because we had an early start at about 6:35, it wasn't so bad, and I've been drinking a lot of water, being sponged down, so it hasn't affected me that badly.
And how hot was it? Even the tar was wilting under the 40-degree heat.
Just a second, quickly. How was the race? How's it going so far?
So far, so good. Yeah, no problems.
First easy?
No, I've done a few.
And the heat?
Killer. Terrible, eh? In the valley, it was awful. But we're getting there.
Ran out of steam. The diesel is finished, yeah.
We had a tough day. We broke a hole in the wall, and we've been limping all day. Changed the colour of the boat a little bit. Got a bit more duct tape on than we started, but we'll make it out.
Hunter's Grant Hillary really battling to get to the finish, but he made it.
And so did the women's leader, Abby Medema, who was going extremely well, already a titleist here once before, and looking for a second win.
Alexa Lombard battling up Cabbage Tree. She's taking a lot of strain. She's much more at home in the deep flat water.
In second spot in the women's race, and after day one with a 12-minute lead, Martin Dreyer.
I must say, when I started to go up the first hill, the portage, and I saw Hank walking and Len walking on the other side, it just gave me a little bit of extra energy. Managed to run past them, and then from there, I wasn't sure what was going on behind me. I just went at a steady pace, but I missed my juice at Bishop's Hill Hall and had to stop in Top of Guinea Fowl and fill up my juice bottle. I'm very glad I did that because I would have been completely a zombie by the time I got to Cabbage Tree. I was really hurting the last little bit. Very happy to be in the lead.
Yo, I've never been in so much pain in my whole life. It was one of the hardest first days I've ever had. Right from the start, I felt the first portage my leg wasn't right, and I just carried on slowly pushing at it. And by the time I got to the last portage, I thought that if I went over the last portage, that my leg would actually break on me. So I decided to paddle around the last 2 minutes, but still managed to come second.
Gauteng Jacques Tron did his sums perfectly. The auditor finished third on the day.
Yeah, excellent. I'm very chuffed with myself. I took it easy from the start, and I knew I had to keep it at the running. That was my concern. Went into the first run very comfortable, and second run picked it up a bit and kept my. I actually made a position on there, passing Hank McGregor, pulling from 4th to 3rd. So I was very chuffed with that. Got tired towards the end. Cabbage Tree was hard and it was hot going up there, but my seconds was good and my equipment held out. So I'm very happy. Yeah.
And a great victory for development paddling down there in the valley. Loveday Zondi really stunning pundits by coming home 8th overall after the first day's racing.
I had a really nice start. I was over only 3rd, which was fine. And then I had a bad swim at Commercial Road, messed around there for a good while. But I suppose just used my mind and didn't go too hard. At Surge Farm, I was 30 seconds behind Laura Thompson, and Alexa had taken out a braai, and I overtook her on the way up to the gum tree, and I never saw her again. And from there, I concentrated more and had good lines the rest of the way.
Mark, ever seen a 12-minute gap after day one?
Certainly not in the modern day Dusi. That was a phenomenal victory by Martin. Heat playing into his hands. Great race.
So after day one, everyone had a long night, and then starts and daylight on day two at the Dusi Bridge. Long day ahead again.
Day two really belonging to the paddlers. The Inanda Dam, 45 minutes, long, flat, deep water, really gives the flatwater paddlers a chance to work and close down those gaps that the runners managed to open on them on day one.
However, trouble for Martin Dreyer on the first day because he was fined 10,000 Rand. His seconds were found on a piece of road that they were not supposed to be on. However, they did get lost, and he did appeal, and at the end of the race, that appeal upheld.
Yes, Martin really taking a lot of flack for that. His seconds missed him. He didn't get the juice. He dehydrated, and he still was fined 10,000 Rand. This played havoc with his overnight preparations, and Martin was a nervous wreck at the end of day one.
And that is the look up to saddles as the two rivers merge. Last-minute preparations for these paddlers just before the off, making sure that everything is in the right place.
Basically, we are for paddler security. We look after paddlers along the route as best as we can. Basically, make sure that nobody gets lost along the river and things like that. If something happens, a lot of paddlers get out and walk. We make sure we get their numbers reported back. And we're just there to assist the paddlers wherever we can.
With the lead I've got, I don't want to do anything stupid and throw away my chances of getting to the end of the second day today first. So I think some of the places I'm going to portage, Len and the guys might shoot. They probably gain instantly a few minutes. But it's up to me, I think, to not throw the race away.
Yesterday I had a pretty good day. I had a good run on all of the runs, actually. And today I just hope I can hold my position, and when I get to the dam, just try to full out and try to maintain my position.
From the Dusi Bridge through the Ngumeni Hill Portage and to the finish in the middle of Inanda Dam.
Lots of tricky rapids to negotiate. Confluence Rapid at the confluence of the Dusi and Umgeni rivers. After Ngumeni Portage, Gumtree, Tombi and Hippo Rapids. Again, three very tricky rapids.
There are a lot more rapids than yesterday, a lot more paddling than yesterday, a couple of portages, quick little hills, but yeah, it's a lot more paddling. Yesterday was running, today is more paddling.
Beautiful overhead conditions as Martin Dreyer and women's leader Abby Medema starts together. It's a typical rally start, so elapsed time is the way that these paddlers go off. And look at Dreyer powering away right from the word go.
Martin will be looking to take the conservative options today. No risks.
A man who couldn't afford not to take risks, Len Jenkins, the defending singles champion, and by those big strokes you can tell that he was serious about business on day two.
Len Jenkins chasing exceptionally hard, doing a quick portage around Dusi Bridge and paddling hard down to the saddles takeout.
Trying to get that splash cover back on. There's the old man, Len Jenkins Sr., trying to make sure that everything is okay with his boykie.
Bit of a risk. There's a chance that your rudder could get stuck up whilst doing a seal entry.
This is Dreyer, the man in third place, with a very determined look on his face too.
He's desperately trying to close that gap on Len Jenkins so he can keep him in sight and pick up some of Len's lines through the tricky Confluence Rapid. What a performance from Loveday Zondi. 8th. This is the first time a development paddler's even got close to the top 10. 8th position is phenomenal, and he really has run his way into the top 10. We expect him to lose a few places on day 2. Paddling not his strong point, but he's really taken advantage of the tough, hot conditions on day 1.
One of Robert and Better's charges, and Robert doing great work down there in the valley for the last few years.
4th place lady, Alice Rawlinson, having a good race. She hasn't really managed to do that much training, being a first-year varsity student this year. Warren Price chasing hard just behind Alice.
At Ibis Point, and this was Dreyer with that beautiful long high stroke of his.
Yes, Martin looking very comfortable, and again he's not going to take the chance and risk breaking his canoe. He's going to take the conservative option and portage around.
This is Saddles and Abby rushing through the KwaZulu-Natal undergrowth. You have to be so careful here, Mark. You know the story.
So careful and so fit. Abby's really powering.
And this race has a very rich history too.
Ian Player heard about it. The witness got to know about it, and there was a piece in the paper. And then Ian Player challenged Ernie to a race. And that is how it started. And there were actually 8 paddlers on that first year in 1951. And Ian was the only one that got through. Everybody else came short.
And ever since then, the stories of the Dusi have continued.
Jason Graham powering around. He's elected to go for the long run on Confluence Portage, and he's running sub 4-minute Ks.
And this man looks like he's putting together sub 4-minute Ks on the water. It is Tron who is flying along as well, trying to reduce that deficit.
The battle for second place is really heated. We've got Jason Graham on the left-hand bank, Len and Jacques battling it out, and it's going to be interesting to see who actually finishes in second position at the end of day 2.
The pressure definitely on, and these two men only had eyes for each other.
Very difficult takeout. The rocks are very slippery, and Len's going to have to watch it, especially with that sore leg.
Lots and lots of spectators out. This has become one of the classics in KwaZulu-Natal sport.
Yes, it has. I think that and the Comrades Marathon, Arnold.
Indeed. Here's Abby Medima, the first woman, giving the cameraman a look, and I'm sure that she was enjoying the conditions on day 2, a complete contrast to the conditions on day 1.
Second, third and fourth really battling it out at the tricky washing machine rapid, just below the confluence of the Dusi and the Umgeni rivers.
Water flowing beautifully, and enough to make it a comfortable race, yet not too much.
Yes, water conditions really good on day 1. Day 2, not quite that good. There was very little water coming out of the Umgeni River.
And here at the washing machine, do you have to be careful or what?
This rapid can break your boat. You need to look really sharp. There are several options, and we'll see quite a few of the different options now. Not always the right one.
Maybe that wasn't an option at all, actually. Sideways saddle, and that didn't work either. Oops, hey now.
Hey, the washing machine, a bit of a nightmare, a bit low. But otherwise, not too bad. Nice and cool today. But this one's a bit bony at the moment. I'll walk down, I'll put in a bottom. It's my first one, so I'll make sure. I'll try to go, but it's a bit rocky.
Rocky indeed, and the water, as Mark was saying, just a little too low. That's what the repairs are about.
My son got jammed up in the rocks down the bottom, yeah? The boat got pretty badly broken, so fortunately these good people up top here have got all the bits and pieces that we need to patch boats. So I'm just going to help my son get his boat fixed up and get him to the finish at the overnight stop. And we'll just paddle down with him, my daughter and I in the double, and he's in the single, and we'll get down to Durban.
One whole big happy family, that's what the Dusi's about.
The beauty of fiberglass, you are able to repair a boat on site.
On the spot.
Martin Dreyer, again, gone for a very short portage. He's taking no chances, absolutely no chances. Jason Graham, he's moved into second position. What a fantastic paddle he's had. He's moved up from fourth into second, and he's looking good. And he's looking good on the water.
Jenkins in third place, and that leg no doubt hampering him.
Jacques Turon dropping back to fourth. He's broken his paddle and just picked up a spare paddle, and he'll be trying to make up that ground that he has lost.
Very powerfully built young man, and one of the future stars of the race as we look at the star of the day, Martin Dreyer. And Mark, quite frankly, hard to believe that he's built such a big lead here at Numeni Hill.
And he's going to extend it some more. Numeni Hill, very steep, very tough, and a very quick downhill put in. Martin's going to use his strength again. But again, it's coming down to the second place race. All 3 boats getting here together. It's going to be incredible tussle going up this hill. There's going to be a lot of pushing and shoving because the guys need to get into that single track path ahead of their competitors. And then Jason Graham, I'm sure, will be pushing very, very hard up this portage.
Very little to give between these 3 men as they chase second place. The most amazing thing, though, is that Martin has forced them into the situation by taking such a big lead.
Abby Medema, a lady, very light. She's battling to empty that boat, but once she's got that light boat on her shoulder, she's going to power up that hill. She's no stranger to pain.
And she's been training with Martin, so she knows the area very well too, although felt that she could have spent a bit more time tripping on the river.
I think it's like studying for an exam. Everyone wishes they could fit in a little bit more.
Oh, and bad luck there for Dion Bruss. Broke that paddle. You could see it happen in front of your eyes, and that's dramatic.
Oh yes, Dion was charging. He had caught up to the second group of second, third and fourth. He had them in his sights. He's taken a bad line, an unconventional line, and I can't believe it. He's actually fallen. The shaft has landed on the middle of the rock, and then paddles in two. This is the end of his race.
Well, this is truly bad luck, but again, it tells a tale of how tough the Dusi can be.
Yeah, I'd caught second and third place, and I was just being over brave, and I shot hippo down the left, and well, I wrapped my paddle around a rock. So I was stuck with two pieces, and well, that's race over. With the new rules, you can't get your seconds are only at the top of the dam. So yeah, I had to jam a stick down the shaft and limp to the dam where I got a spare paddle.
Well done. It was really sad to see that happen, but what a performance to make up that ground. Well done.
Thank you very much. Yeah, that's it.
Indeed, that is it. He's trying desperately here to get this paddle to work in any sort of condition. Torn pieces of his pants off to try and do this. This is dreadful, Mark.
Well, he's got nowhere out. There's nowhere to go. He has got to get down that river. He's not allowed to get seconding. He's got to make this work.
Oh no, same story.
He's back to the drawing board.
And now at the flat waters of Inanda Dam, on the way to the finish of day 2, Martin Dreyer, and if you get to the shot in the front, looking back, no one anywhere near Martin Dreyer, who is flying away with the victors and the spoils here.
First of all, the weather, I mean, what a bonus. Cool weather. I'm chuffed for the guys who are at the back. I mean, they had a tough day yesterday. When I finished, I heard some of the guys are still starting. That's what the race is about.
Len and Jacques tussling it out to see who's going to cross the line in second position. Not really a significant part of the race because they'll start off together at the same time tomorrow morning.
Jenkins with that great upper body of his powering through for the slight win, and Tron coming through in a great finish on day 2.
Yeah, I was really keen to put some time down on Martin, close the gap maybe 6 minutes each day. I was quite optimistic. But then I got to the first portage and I lost maybe 2-3 minutes on that. So I just realized after the first portage that there's no chance that I'd ever do that. You can't expect to race a race with a handicap and then still expect to win.
I had a bit of bad luck going through Confluence section. I broke a paddle, but my seconds were right there at Marion Foley Bridge, so I didn't lose much time. Got the paddle and could continue. It was really a good tussle up. We were 3 by that stage. Jason Graham ran Confluence section, and then myself, Len and him was together going up Numeni Hill, and that was a good battle to the top. Everyone had to stay together. On the down, I stayed with them, so it proved my running. It was great. Then caught up to us just before the dam, and we had a good paddle across the dam.
When does your toothpaste stop working? As soon as you stop brushing, give your mouth all the protection.
Alexa Lombard, she's had a good race. She's tried her best to close that gap down on Abby, but Abby has continued to pull away and break away from her. She's really making use of Reino Armdorf's wave, and she'll be riding on Reino's wave and making use of that. She'll be conserving her energy while Reino's doing the hard work.
But the day belonged to Abby.
I think today was quite nice. The water level wasn't too full. I don't really know the section as well as I probably should, so I think it was a little bit more forgiving, and the weather was great.
For the men and the women at the top, their day was over, but further back and away from Inanda Dam, it got a little tough out there. most of these men and women, if you fall out, it's okay. But when this happens to you, this is the end of your race. This is Cabell Vermaak from Fazella Canoe Club in Durban. A slip and immediately that right shoulder, that whole joint out and in unbelievable pain.
I've dislocated my shoulder once and it's not a pleasant sight. She's in a lot of trouble and I don't know how she's going to get to the finish from here.
She stays down and tries to get some help. Now, there are medics on the other side of the river, and she's calling for them to come and help, but that arm is absolutely painful. Now, just have a look at how the medic struggles. That is the strength of the river. And, of course, luckily, the organizers did have ER-24 and a helicopter there. They were there to try and help within seconds, but it was all to no avail. This was very, very serious and very painful.
With that shoulder, she's going nowhere. And they've got to get that shoulder in as fast as they can. The faster you get that dislocated shoulder in, the quicker your recovery.
In the meantime, the rest of the paddlers go by, trying to make their way to the finish. Here's Oscar Chalupski.
How are you going? Good? Good. Today was a nice day. No running and not too hot. And these two fat bastards seem to be going quite fast today. We're definitely giving Bruce and Sean a bit of a run for their money, I think. Where's Sean? They were about 15 to 20 minutes behind us. Oh, really? But they beat us by 9 minutes yesterday, so we've got to catch up.
And we had a good day. Water's been fantastic. Everybody said it was going to be low. It's been perfect. There's going to be a lot of damage. It's quite a tricky level, but going very well. Thank goodness today it's cooler than yesterday.
Sean, how's your day been?
It's been nice. The weather's been kind to us. Excellent driver. We've just got a bit of work to do. I think Oscar's quite away ahead of us.
20 minutes.
Really?
And how far is Bruce behind you?
I'm not sure. We haven't seen him.
Cargo.
It's going great. I'm really impressed with Lyndon. It's his 5th time ever in the boat. And it's incredible. His balance especially is really good. We shot everything today. Went through beautifully and we far in front of most of the other celebrities today. Happy about. Because our running's not as strong as our paddling. But I'm most impressed.
Lyndon, first time you've gone through these sort of rapids. How are you feeling?
Great. Don't these guys know anything else like tennis and basketball? Why do they do this? It's crazy, but it's wonderful. I'm enjoying it.
A bit more water would have been good. But tomorrow we're going to have nice water. 32 cubics. Well, that's going to be great. Told. Yeah.
So we're raising money for starfish, eh? So, different colour here. Have a bit of fun, eh?
Do you know what starfish is about, eh? It's all the orphaned kids in the valleys. That's what it is.
One of the charities for the Dusi.
So we raised
quite a bit of money for them, and
we raised about $5 grand.
Having a bit of fun, eh?
And that hair colour, when are you going to get it out?
I'm going to have to shave it off, eh? It's not coming out, eh? So the race is coming out on Monday.
Yeah.
We figure that's what you call a hair-raising race.
Yeah, having a good time, thanks. Struggling a bit in the low water here, though. But otherwise, having a good time, thanks.
That's really what the Dusi is all about, having a good time and getting there in one piece. However, this fellow got it slightly wrong. Is this called going upstream? But we knew he'd finally get it right. Martin Dreyer got it right by 15.5 minutes over Lynn Jenkins, while Abby Medema was 14 minutes ahead of Alexa Lombard in the women's section.
I had my ear taken off.
How did it happen?
Just went down the rapid backwards.
Yeah, but you were having a fight with your partner. And that was Tomby.
No, Tomby Rapid last year. Now I have to wear a helmet if I want to paddle again. So that's the story. But it's not pink. It's red.
Elbows into him, Pete, what did you say if I tell you watch it?
Don't hurt me now. This is definitely the best part of canoeing.
Would you battle towing an oak this fat around? Look at it, look at it. Don't hang it out, look at it.
Okay. All right, we got the bucky sack here that supplies the water for the shower. And a bit of paraffin here that warms up the water to make it hot for the ladies. You know, because we want to look after our ladies that are seconding us. So you put that under there, warms it up. And start the Bakisaki. And there we go, we have hot water for our hard working seconds. Hard working seconds, no? Yeah. And we hope they don't complain too much.
Expecting rain tonight?
Well, I'd be sleeping in my sleeping bag if I wasn't, eh? So yeah, I think we might have a little bit of rain, but it's a bit late because it's not going to help us tomorrow anyway. Should have come yesterday, properly, not half a rain. You're not going to put this on TV, eh?
2 7.5-hour days, eh? But it's lekker, resting.
Why are you taking so long?
You got 8 hours a day, so I think I'm doing comfortably. I'm doing well. I'm styling. I'm getting value for money. I'm on a single. First time on a single. Last time on a single as well.
So what's going to happen tomorrow?
So 7.5 hours.
We did around 6 hours 43, so we only swam once, so it's alright. It's good.
This is my wife worrying me not getting to seconding points. So I get very nervous, and this is the rashes I develop in the afternoon.
Wel, is nie 'n adventure race nie, maar dit is vir my baie lekker. Ek kom met my elke jaar doen net vir die fun af, en ek meen die Dusi het sy eie vibe en dis lekker. Dit gaan dis bietjie hardloop, bietjie roei, iets van alles en dit is baie opwindend.
A way of doing the Dusi.
That's a man who's organised, and here is the Dusi haka, of sorts, of course. The overnight camp at the Inanda Dam, and 1 day of racing left, 40 kilometres or just short of it, but the biggest obstacle on day 3, Burma Road.
Burma Road is the big decision point of day 3. Who's going to go over, who's going to go around?
There's time to be made up either way, because if you take the wrong line in the water, you're in trouble, and you can also get lost.
Ons het het pluspunt net 4 insidente gehad op die eerste dag en 4 insidente op die tweede dag. Dit is natuurlijk voor ons absoluut fantastisch. Dit is een groot succes en het wijst dat de polisieering was baie succesvol geweest.
Well, I'm going to paddle around Burma. I'm not even going to think about running over. It's going to be much of a muchness to sort of go over and go around.
Whatever Len does, I'll just do the opposite and try and beat him.
Definitely not going over Burma. Done that before in the past, and I'll never do that again. Running is not the thing to do.
And that comes from an all-time great runner. Talking about an all-time great runner, here's Dre saddling up for the third and final day's battle.
In a straight line, they've much of a muchness. Maybe Len's got a bit of an edge, but it's going to be a good race.
And he should know. John has been part of the race since way back. Last-minute repairs again at the overnight stop. Day 3, the start in the middle of Inanda Dam to the wall, but then, as we were saying, decision time at Burma Road Portage.
I'm going to be conservative, go with Burma, and just try and get to the end in one piece, and hopefully first.
Yeah, I think more or less I'm going to go over. It's a hard run, but we'll see how it goes.
And the 2 overnight leaders go away to a packed riverbank and lots of applause. But this would be a very, very tactical day, Mark.
Yes, very tactical for second place. These 2, they've got the race in the bag. Just no mistakes, and they're going to win the event. Alexa Lombard, she's chasing Abby. She's going to have to have an incredible day. And she's using the flat water to her advantage, and she'll be trying to close down some of the gap on Abby Medema.
That gap was 14 minutes worth and very widely watched by a lot of people. And when I say widely, you can see just how big the gap really was.
With a lead like this, you can't actually close down that gap. The only way you can lose with a lead like that is if you break your boat or disaster strikes. No one's going to paddle or run that gap.
Which means that the 2 leaders just had to be very careful. Jenkins and Jacques Tron on the other side had nothing to lose. They had to go for it hell for leather from the word go.
Those 2 are no longer racing for first. First place is over. They're now racing each other. They're looking for that second position. These 2 are going to have a full crack at one another. Steep portage coming up just after the dam, running down. Martin's going to have to put in and tackle Top's Needle straight away. A difficult portage.
And Abby along that very same stretch, hauling the boat up onto the right shoulder, making sure that she stays away from that fence, and then starts shuffling her way up a very short, sharp, steep hill.
Martin, he's gone for the conservative option. He's put in halfway down, taking no mistakes. A very, very tricky rapid. You take a swim here and you're really going to know all about it. One of the most difficult rapids on day 3.
This is Top's Needle and Abby also taking that very same line. You can tell that they've been training together and tripping on the river.
Oh yes, and they've gone for the safer line down the left-hand side. And now back to the dam wall. Jenkins getting out first. Jacques Tron's going to be itching to get past him and try and put in some time onto Jenkins. Jenkins will be battling to run down that steep downhill on that damaged leg.
This is Lombard, the runner-up in the women's section, but that big gap, certainly a very tough mental hurdle to overcome.
Jacques Tron, both Jacques and Len have put in at the top of Top's Needle. They're going for a very, very risky line, and let's hope they get through.
Tron going about it rather gingerly, trying to make sure that he makes no mistakes, and one small little mistake here could make all the difference.
Probably 30 seconds quicker putting in at the top, but if you get it wrong, you are going to pay the price.
30 seconds time 5's worth of time lost.
Jenkins chasing hard. Jenkins will be trying to get ahead of Jacques Tron just before the Burma takeout, and that's when decision time is going to have to be made for those two paddlers. And this is what happens when you don't quite get it right.
Is this what they call caught between a rock and a wet place?
I think it is. Alec Rennie using all his slalom skills that he's learnt over the years to successfully negotiate both around the rock and the boat.
That, of course, was the end of the road for that paddler.
Stuart Rawlinson coming through Top's Needle. Nice line there from Stuart, and he's got through with hardly even getting wet.
Here's Bruce Fordyce. Now, here is a very good example of a guy who looked like he knew that he was going to get wet, but don't tell anybody.
Looked like some heated discussions at the start and a little bit of uncertainty, and they're paying the price, and Bruce will be getting a hammering. His shins will be getting hit, his knees will... he'll be very, very sore after this swim.
But I'm sure he picked a television camera spot so that he could get more exposure for the Sports Trust.
Coming out of the bottom of Top's Needle and working your way down to Side Shoot, the next tricky rapid. Oh, and it's Oscar Chulupski and Greg Barton taking yet another swim. Oscar will be using all his life-saving skills to get Greg to the bank in one piece.
And of course, Oscar has just developed a brand new paddle which he was using down there at the Dusi, but a paddle doesn't help you much in this scenario, does it, Mark?
No, I think water wings would have helped Oscar a little bit more in this case.
The big boy taking a big tumble, and he's going to get ragged by a whole bunch of people after showing this on Supersport. Nonetheless, he's got big shoulders.
Jeremy Saunders obviously knew he was going to take a swim. Jeremy's using 3 life jackets, and boy, did he need them.
Oh, and oof. This looks like a WWF slow-mo in the end of it all.
These boys are going to be very, very sore, and that boat, I think, is probably going to be disintegrated by the time they get to it.
Amazingly, the sunglasses stay on.
And he's looking good.
Looking very cool indeed. Again, we must make mention of how many spectators have come out to support and help, and this is another part of what the Dusi has become over its 52 years of existence.
The quality of the water exceptional this year. The water crystal clear below the dam. This is Mgani Water's water at its best, and what a pleasure to paddle in this ice-cold water after day 1 and day 2, where the water's almost as hot as the air's been.
On day 3, the weather conditions sort of in the middle and much more comfortable than day 1. However, the boys and the girls were all praying for another day like day 2.
A little bit hotter than day 2, and yes, the guys were certainly... Oh, and another spill. These guys are paddling plastic boats, almost indestructible, epic kayaks, and... obviously not that stable.
And the gentleman on the left with the black hat there, that's Andre from Big Brother, showing that he's not just good on television, but look at how cool he is when he has to hop back into the boat. first attempt, second attempt, and he gets it right. Well done, Andre.
These guys paddling for the SPCA charity, and yeah, very good on them.
And here's a father and two sons combination. They couldn't make up who should ride with who, so they rode together. And now the Burma Road portage and the big decision point on day 3.
Martin Dreyer is elected to run. He is going to surge up that hill. A very, very tough run. The big question will be, what will Len and what will Jacques do? My guess, Len's carrying an injury. He's going to pedal around. And if I was in Jacques' position, I'd certainly have a crack at running over.
And this is the race for second and third.
Len is powering away. He's opened up nearly a 100-meter gap on Jacques Theron, and he must have had a phenomenal paddle. Martin Dreyer powering down the other side of Burma Road, and boy, is he going.
This is Abby dragging the boat down on the gravel road on the other side of Burma, and when you're standing there and those boats go by, they burn from that boob pull down Burma Road.
And a crucial decision time. This is Len Jenkins. He's opened the gap and he's going to try and extend it by paddling around. Paddling around Burma, as we can see, very tough, very difficult rapids.
This is what those who are going over Burma Road will miss, but it's a very tough call, Mark.
Here's 4 big rapids: Little John, Mulweni, Island and Five Fingers. All difficult rapids to negotiate.
With Dreyer having gone in the sunset by more than 15 minutes, that was Jenkins at the bottom of Little John, which looks like Big John when you look at it from the air, and no sign of Tron at this stage.
Jenkins is putting on a cracking pace. Jacques Theron, he's just got to the water as Jenkins paddles past. It's been almost identical times running over to going around, but Jacques has still got to get into his boat. Looks like Jacques' going to lose about 30 seconds, but then he was probably 15 seconds behind. What a performance. Both of them have had faultless performances going around and going over.
So Jenkins is the flatwater specialist and he'll be very hard to catch, so it looks like the race for second and third is over. Lombard has also realized that her run for first place is over. She's trying to protect second place.
Alexa at the compulsory Mulweni portage. Dion Bruss, what a fantastic race he's had. He moved up into 4th place, broke his paddle, and he's chasing hard. He's going into the gold medals.
This is Dreyer, just a few scant kilometers from the finish at the Blue Lagoon in Durban, and here is where he understands that it's virtually all over, bar the shouting.
Martin will be starting to savour the victory. He can smell home, he can see it. Jenkins chasing hard, first pump house weir. He's still cracking, he's still got to worry and protect second place from Jacques Theron.
Pump house weir again very tricky.
Jacques Theron coming up to the second pump house weir. He shoots it perfectly. You have to be very careful not to bend your rudder blade.
But it looked like his race for second spot was over. Snakebite victim Colin van Heerden caught up with us from last year.
I think that if one puts it in perspective, it was a really freak thing. I probably got a better chance of winning the lottery than being bitten again. That's how I feel about it. It was a really freak thing. You know, in South Africa there are 15 snake bites a year, of which only 3 are accidental, which would be a non-collector or non-handling it, and very few mamba bites. So it's not a common thing at all.
But Martin Dreyer's bite was probably even bigger during the 2003 Dusi Canoe Marathon. Here he is, coming home to a 15.5-minute victory.
What a fantastic performance. A truly phenomenal performance from Martin.
All right, it's great to be here. You never know if you're going to make a mistake. Could easily break a boat, break a paddle. And it's quite lonely out there. For about an hour, you don't see anyone. I thought it was going to be a really stinking hot day, but fortunately, after going over Burma, the cloud came in, so it made it quite pleasant. I'm not sure where the other guys are, what they were doing, if they went round or over, but you know, it's just a really overwhelming sense of relief just being here in Blue Lagoon, because having a lead like yesterday, people say, no, you're going to be the winner, and you never actually sure until you actually cross the line. So it's great to be here.
I started off quite hard on the dam, worked together with Jacques, we pulled across together, ran down the dam wall, and I was in so much pain. Jacques obviously knew that I was weaker on the run, so he opened up a bit of a gap, and I had to haul that back in, tiring myself out a bit. And then I saw Jacques got a bit stuck at side shoot, took advantage of this, and I knew Burma was coming up, I knew he was going to run it. So I put a bit of an interval in and made him a bit tired before he went into Burma. And obviously he was more tired going up there than I was going around. and met up with him at the bottom, and maybe he was a good minute behind me when I went past him at the put-in of Burma, and carried on paddling, shot the pump house weirs successfully, and basically I had a very, very lucky day to shoot everything like I did without falling out once, and that's what actually got me the second place I've got today.
And a first gold medal for Jacques Tron.
It was a determined Len Jenkins. He paddled excellently on the water, and I took my chances. I did Burma Road. That I'm happy with my decision. It did kill me, but like I said, a determined Len Jenkins didn't make any mistakes, and it was a good race.
Avis's Abby Medema winning the women's section convincingly.
In the end, it was a magnificent performance from her.
I had a superb day. I just enjoyed it. I didn't make any mistakes. Ran Burma, ran Pump House, did a lot of running, but just had a...
Golf socks, 24 round.
Scott Maynard, he was lying in 5th, got lost over Burma, he slipped down to 7th. And the brothers, Sean just managing to pip his brother Jonathan, and Russell Willis scooping the last gold medal.
Up at the top, Martin Dreyer, clear winner. Len Jenkins and Jacques Tron, they had a fierce battle, and Jason Graham.
Abby Medema, what a fantastic race she had. All these girls, the top 5 girls, very young, what a future. We're going to see a lot of them in the future. Alice Rawlinson from Wits, great performance, 2nd last year, 4th this year. Lauren Simmons in 3rd, fantastic. It's been nice talking to you for the last 3 days in the hot South African sun down at Blue Lagoon. It's been an extremely exciting race. Martin Dreyer, Abby Medema broke away and devastated the field on day 1. And that really set the tune of the race for the rest of the 3 days. But today, down at Blue Lagoon, we've seen a dramatic tussle for 2nd place, with Len Jenkins managing to take on Gauteng's Jacques Tron. It's once again, what a fantastic race we've had down at Blue Lagoon, the Hansa Powerade Dusi 2003.